What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel and welcome to another breakdown while I drive. I'm hands-free for those of you new to the channel who aren't familiar with these, and so it's totally safe, but I do these sometimes. I just jumped off stream, had to go handle something, so you're gonna hear some beeps and some driving background noise, but you get the point. So what I wanted to talk to you about is the tactical part of these football games, in particular right now, eFootball. It's one thing that I haven't really got into too deep, but I always am talking about how eFootball game is by far the best game for many different reasons. And it truly is for many different reasons. And I have talked about the details that go into the tactical part and the fact that, there is a skill gap in creating your team the right way. If you know what you're doing when you're creating your team, it can go a long way. Now, there's two different sides of that though, right? There's setting your team up like the trash meta that's going on in order to take advantage of all the exploits, and essentially, like I call these guys losers. The reason why is because there is no effort in that, right? They'll line their team up in such a way that they can try to get you to pass right into them, that they can pressure you without being punished and run through you and essentially create chances or score goals from tackle-backs, from just exploiting and spamming through balls. And Konami has been assisting them along the way. A lot of this nonsense assistance, the whole, what people call, what do they call it? I'm losing the word. Momentum, right? I know it's not a hard word to remember, but really the word I was thinking is scripting, because it's not truly momentum. It's almost like what Konami has deemed a way to keep teams in the game who are getting outplayed. And a lot of these players, even the top ranked ones, they use these, trash tactics, they will get outplayed. But they'll always end up with that tackle back because the opponent's trying to keep the ball, trying to play real football, and they'll end up with something like that. Or they'll make a tackle and just spam a through ball. It happens to glide through because they'll pay for all the best players in the game still. So those through balls will work out for them, pretty good amount of times. But they're just not playing football. That's the whole thing, right? And it's sad to see because this is the best football game, and you can create excellent tactics. You can make it to where a lot of these legends and even the current players that you have in your team emulate how they play in real life if you want. If not, you can create a system that benefits how you play, and these players, if you can fit them, whether you turn off their play styles with the different methods or utilize their play styles to help how you play, that's part of the beauty of it. And so if Konami would have went the other route and sort of pushed how good the game can be and pushed utilizing real tactics and playing real football by not providing all this assistance, by taking out a lot of the what turns out to look like scripting or is scripting and the stuff that makes it easier for these low-level players to compete, then everyone would be forced to learn the game and play it the right way. And if they can't, sayonara, see you later. And it seems like Konami chose money over doing that, meaning that they felt that a larger number of their players were low-level players, and so they needed to go the route of more and more assistance. Hence why just recently, since I started playing within the last month, they just recently added Smart Assist in everything. At first, it was just in events it could be used, and a lot of players used it, and that made me sick. It shouldn't be in any PvP mode, because anything that takes away a player's decisions and puts it on the AI, it's taking away from the skill gap. It's taking away from the fun of the game, which is learning, getting better, and then the satisfaction comes from when you succeed, as you get better, right? As you work on things, which is why it ties to real football. You put in the work, you get better, and then the payoff comes on the pitch. That's the beauty of it. So Konami essentially is destroying their own masterpiece, and it truly is a masterpiece of a football game when you look at the direction that FCs went. Even though they have the most players, even though they have more content, deeper game because they've been around much longer, it's still not a better football game, right? It's better overall because of several different factors, but pure football wise, satisfaction wise, as far as playing the game and being rewarded for getting better, eFootball totally takes the cake. If they took away all the assistance and all the shortcuts for these lower level players, the game would literally be so skyrocketed up above FC and of course UFL. So The reason I'm saying this, though, is that I said it from the beginning. I could tell by the way the game was going that I could get to the point where I beat these lower level players, right? And it's extremely frustrating. There are points where you're like, why am I even playing this with a developer that would take their game in this route, right? It just makes you so mad. But then the tables start to turn, and now I'm at a point where I'm creating my own tactics, and they come off and work beautifully. I'm playing in the way that I'm envisioning, and it works beautifully. Because sometimes on paper, quote unquote, doesn't always work in game. But in eFootball, it absolutely does. You can absolutely show your superiority tactically and have it, help you in game. Then you just have to play. I just was struggling, right? To the point where for a time I thought, there's no way to play that awesome part of football. You'd have to play versus AI. However, as I dug deeper, because I'm just not a quitter, it's just not in me, and got back to the grind and really focused on eFootball, I seen that there is a way. If you put in the time to learn the stuff tactically, to learn all the different ways to get better on the pitch as well, you will prevail over all these players, including these meta rats that are just playing anti-football. And there's no better feeling than beating these through ball spammers, these rush type of defenders that really aren't using any type of skill at all. They're just putting their team in a way where they can do the least amount of work themselves, where they can utilize the AI assistance in holding down X without being punished, right? Even though they're not, angling off the attackers, even though they're not timing whenever they, attack a player, or I should say, go to defend a player and make a tackle, right? So that's where I'm at, and I really want to urge all you players to keep playing the game. If you love true football and you want to play that, and maybe you're feeling like me, though, where maybe you're feeling like it's a lost cause because of all these anti-footballers in eFootball, trust me, keep fighting past the storm, and sunny days are coming. Remember that. Sunny days are coming, I promise you. I was in the same exact boat as you, and trust me, I'll still take whoopings. I'll still have to learn lessons. I still have a long way to go. By no means have I made it, quote unquote, but I've gotten so much better just in the past month. And in another month, I can only imagine. And then another month, and then in a year. And that's my goal, is to keep climbing higher. And that's the beauty of this game. No, it's not as deep as I want it to be. I wish it had a weekend champs type of thing. I wish it had, more rewards. I wish you could grind and get some of these top players instead of just having to pay money to get them. There's so many things that I hope get added in the future. And among them is I hope that they start taking out, or at least nerfing, some of the assistants, and they force some of these players to have to learn the game and not take all these shortcuts and essentially get rewarded for it too. But even if that day never comes, eFootball is well worth it and a fantastic game, right? Doesn't mean I won't complain about all the nonsense in the game, because closed mouths don't get fed, problems never got solved by ignoring them, the whole nine. Any other analogy, saying whatever, you get what I'm saying. So with that being said, keep grinding. Don't give up. Keep having fun, right? Enjoy the process of getting better. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.